Is that a
Play the
York
music.
Blue Jays?
Yeah, York Blue Jays, AA baseball. We don't have to talk about it.
Oh, for a second I was like, is that the new name of the OBJs?
Farthest thing from it. Episode 10. All time with Luke Willson. Joining me as always, Mr. Luke Willson. How you doing, buddy? It's bright and early today.
I mean, I don't know if I could be doing any better, man. Big night of riding my bike last night, the velodrome. Big night. Legs were kind of, a little sore, but finally had a good, decent performance. So I'm ripping right now, man. I'm ripping.
How sore are you the next morning, waking up after like training and all that stuff? I know you've been training for a couple months now. Like how's the body feeling at this stage of the game?
It's a completely different sore belly. It gets to the point where like football, you wake up and it's like you put your feet in the ground. It's almost like a thunderbolt sometimes would like shoot through your whole body, and not in a good way. You'd be like, oh God. But it's from getting hit. It's from getting like making, I don't want to say awkward movements, but trying to go full speed one way and making a 90-degree turn on a turf field numerous times. You kind of get those like aches and pains that way. Where on the bike, it's more of an exhaustion in the sense of, I've got my quote unquote fit dialed in. So it's not like I'm in an awkward spot. I mean, biking in general is a little awkward, but you just sit there and like fatigue your legs and then keep pedaling. And it gets to the point where it just feels gross. It's like sludge in your legs. It's like bag skating, I guess. Everyone can relate to that.
Is there any
Everyone
sort
who's
of
played
like
hockey.
Is there any sort of like biker's high? I've always heard people talk about runner's high. I've always thought that was a load of bullshit, but I'm not a
Yes.
runner. Like, do you get
Yes,
to a point
100%.
yeah?
Yes. But
That's gotta
not
feel pretty
on
good.
the velodrome, I don't think. It'd be more
No?
so on the road. Like tomorrow is Sunday is my birthday. And I've got a big Saturday road ride for the birthday plan. Just a solo rip. Probably going to be like 4 hours, climbing a lot up the hills, up the canyons, if you will. And I'll get a nice biker's high on that bad boy.
33 on Sunday? Is that
33.
what are you, 32? 33 on Sunday.
I might be
How
the
about
youngest
that?
33-year-old in the entire world, bro.
You might be. You might be. Considering the
I
fact you're
mean, are you
32 at the
kidding me?
moment, you might be the youngest 33-year-old I've ever met.
Touche.
We got a great show. We got a jam-packed. It's going to be about 45, 50 minutes. Luke and I both have some pretty hard outs. It's 10:25 in the morning at the moment. We both got to be out of here by 11 a.m. Eastern. So it's going to be jam-packed. We're going to get into the playoffs. We're going to get some predictions from Luke in about 20, 25 minutes. I also want to get your thoughts on just locker rooms at this point. How banged up is a team at this moment? We see injury reports, we see all that stuff, but a part of me always kind of wonders just how banged up teams are. We're going to get into all the football stuff in about, like I said, 20, 25 minutes maybe. We'll save some of that stuff for the end. We'll do bets. We'll do all that stuff. If you want to skip to it, producer Alec will have timestamps. Go ahead. But before then, Luke, we got to talk about last weekend. We got to talk about last weekend. You and I, for those that don't know, which is going to be many people, you and I met in August over Zoom. We got to work together at TSN for a couple of months. The energy was awesome. The vibes were great. Watching games, sweating out bets. But then the weather changed, and my good pal Luke Willson went to California while I'm sticking it out in the snow and the cold here in Canada. We've been doing things over Zoom. We've been doing things remotely, but we had you back in Toronto last weekend. 3 full days, 2 full days of football, the national championship Monday night. Just talk to the people. Let them know what was last weekend like. How was it being back in Toronto, being back at TSN, seeing some familiar faces? I can say for myself, it was nice having you back. But how did it feel?
Look, it was a lot of fun from a variety of standpoints. First and foremost, I think it was just good to be back because as many people watch TSN, and maybe I'm the new guy, but I feel like you're in this category too. And I think producer Alec is also in this category. You sit there and you see like, hey, here's a quick hit, or here's a quick segment, or here's a quick post for you, Belly. And the reality is like, what I kind of learned was probably after a few weeks is from not everybody there. Let's be honest, not everybody, but for I think everybody that's least involved in this podcast, you care about your work and you care about the content and you want people to enjoy the stuff that you're doing. And even if they don't enjoy it, it's because maybe they don't like your take, but they still, I guess respect it. And when you sit there all day on Sundays, Mondays, for me, a little bit of Wednesday as well, not this trip, but during the year, I'm talking about, you kind of develop relationships that to me have been extremely healthy, So you sit there, it's kind of like not so much a football team, but in a way, like you go in there, you get the live segments, you get the whole ordeal, and it's like, it's just good people. I've met a lot of very good people that I really like. And yeah, the Zoom stuff like we're doing now is great, but it's not the same as like in person. So
Oh yeah.
with that sentimental note being said, let's get into the weekend. All right. Boom. So the reason I went to Toronto was twofold. One was to film a Super Bowl commercial. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to see what it's for. I think we'll get a good couple notes in the pod from that. And then two was to be back in studio last game of the year. So went with manager Mark. He kind of set the whole thing up. Flew into Detroit, Michigan, though. That's where it got trippy, Luke. You ever taken a red-eye flight?
No.
I'm not great with them. I'm not great with them. I would not recommend doing it. It sounds great on paper, but it just really jacks me up, dude. So we go, I rode my bike all day Friday, went to dinner, got on the plane at 10 p.m. You land at 5 a.m. in Detroit. So saw the family a little bit for a couple minutes in Windsor. And then me and Mark drive up that 401, the lovely 401, the scenic, not boring at all. I'm on about 30 minutes of sleep. I start nodding off on the wheel. I'm like, Mark, bro, I feel like a bitch, dude. I'm like, you got to drive right now. I'm going to put us into drive us into a dang median. So I get us just shy of London. Mark's like, I feel great. This guy slept on the plane, and it's manager Mark, bro. The man's, he's a stud.
He's ready to rock.
So then we get into town. Couple things, man. This is going to sound a little bougie, but I have a thing. And I was let down this week. I have a thing when I go to towns. Like I said, we were there for a commercial. So let's say the commercial was funding most of the weekend. I like staying in like eclectic hotels when I'm in new cities. All right. Okay. Not that Toronto's a new city, but like Toronto, I would say there's a hotel called the Bisha House. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd put the term eclectic. It's a little trendy. But I like staying there. It's an arm and a leg. So I'm like, you know what? This might be a fun weekend to stay at the Bisha. But then I'm like, we're not partying. Kind of more of a party hotel. These are the debates I have myself. So I'm online. I'm like, I should try something else. Let's look for a little boutique joint. Blase. Did you know there's a one hotel? Not one King West. There's a one hotel Toronto. Let me tell you about this one hotel, bro.
Please
I don't know
do.
If producer Alec can bring up the one, not the Toronto one hotel, West Hollywood. There's also one in Miami. This place is heaven on earth in West Hollywood, man. I mean, you walk into this, it's like you left planet Earth for a little bit. It's one of those like green hotels, which isn't really my vibe. But let's just say the scenery is it's unmatched. This is the West Hollywood one. Very, very eclectic vibes, nice little breakfast spot, like they're doing too much, but I love the whole thing. I mean, the key cards are little like wood chips that you return. I don't know how they magnetize them, bro. I kid you not, bro. I'm not making this up. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Toronto got a one hotel? Since when? I'm like, this is the Mecca. It's the Mecca in West Hollywood. So I'm like, I'm saying there, like, we got to do it. And Mark's like, let's do it. So boom, get in there. Not great, Luke. It's not the one hotel West Hollywood. I don't know what my head was thinking. Not that it was bad, but certainly not, up to par with some of the other one hotels that I've been to. It's the old Thompson Hotel. Remember? Have you ever been to the Thompson?
I think I've heard of the Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was laughing. It kind of brought me back for a sec. Last time I was at the Thompson, went to their little rooftop. It was the summertime. Saw my guy Cabby on the rooftop. We were buying each other drinks. Shout out Cabby. Incredible dude. But then things got interesting. Went in Saturday, filmed a couple Sports Center hits, skipped to Sunday. Sunday we cooked, bro. I mean, we're in the building. Luke Willson in the building. We were slapping parlays, even though I wasn't. You were. We just had a very good time. Like Kara Waglin, friend of the pod,
Friend of the
David
pod.
Sanchez, soon to be friend of the pod. It was fun. There's a few background guys. I mean, we'll talk about producer Alec in a sec, but also there's a guy named Norm who's just electric. Does a lot of work for the CTV show. And then I have a strong admiration for the producer of the CTV show. His name is Dennis.
Yes.
Just the most fucking professional guy and just great at his goddamn job, bro. So it was great to see Dennis. He puts us in a position to succeed. So got to rip the CTV show. Then we go into a J show. And I thought it was the best effort we've done. I got to do a hockey highlight pack, talk some ball. Kyle Lawson, director Jamie, these guys. I mean, they're cool, bro. It was a lot of fun. I thought it was somewhat funny. What really tickled my heart about that was Mike Commodore tweeted that he liked it. I'm a big Mike Commodore Twitter guy.
Oh yeah, isn't he like the pack your shit guy?
He pack your shit. Hashtag in one. Yes, bro. Yes. Hashtag big time in one.
Yeah.
Anti Mike Babcock guy. So I figure like one day I think it would be fun to just share horror stories between Mike Babcock and Matt Patricia and see like, who's the ultimate fucking absolute gimp.
I think the answer to that question is Matt Patricia, but
yeah. Shout out. You know what I wanted to say, by the way, about football last weekend. Yeah, great point, Alec. At least Babcock won games. What I want to say about football in the Matt Patricia curse, to me, the reason the Lions are in the playoffs right now, I mean, can be traced to Matt Patricia in about 3,000 ways, but specifically, the man traded Quandre Diggs for a fucking Snickers bar. Okay. And Quandre has pretty much the not game sealing, but like the turnaround pick in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
I thought he was going to get a taunting penalty on that, Because as soon as he picked that off, I was like, "Oh boy,
that was swaggy as shit, dude."
Oh, that was sweet. You kidding me?
Yeah,
it was like
I could see him doing it again this weekend.
One fluid motion. Okay,
I could see him doing it again this weekend.
Oh God, I wanted to do the Earls chat before we got into football, but you're already.
No, we're gonna go to Earls. I think the highlight of the weekend. So we do the commercial Sunday, and it was fun to hang with Wags and Davis. They were also from the commercial. It was a CTV show commercial.
Monday, yeah.
And then Monday. Then Monday night we go to the FanDuel dinner. I got to meet a couple FanDuel VIPs. I put something out there that I would not lose a parlay in the playoffs. So that's that. That's facts. And then, honestly, then we got to the point where I was like, shit, let's go to Earl's. And we went to Earl's, a couple of FanDuel guys, myself, Belly was there, and we got to witness one of the worst almost fights of all time. And I don't know where your head's at, but if you're a dude, talk to me, Belly.
Well, it was the ultimate like shit or get off the pot moment. I think for about literally 20 to 30 minutes we were sitting, and it just kind of happened.
No
that, like, the table that we were sitting at was like directly next to the bar where the verbal altercations were going on. And it just seemed like for 20, 30 minutes we were looking at each other like, are these guys going to do anything? Or are they just going to kind of be like passive aggressive to each other all night? It was strange. The security came over at one point and just like talked him down. And then security left. They let him stay. It was weird.
Bizarre.
Like, just fight. Yeah.
No, you sit there and it was like 6 guys on one side of the bar, and then one guy who was polluted on the other side of the bar. We missed the whole like whatever happened before, but it sounded like the polluted guy called somebody a bitch. I put that together, and I was expecting like there to be a female involved, like maybe somebody like called his girl a bitch, but there were no females in sight. I mean,
There's a
not
lot of
involved in
testosterone.
this fight. There were females inside in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I'll beat your ass. And it's like, come do it then. It's like, but I'll beat your ass. Come do it then for 25 fucking minutes. Then it got even weirder on some Canadian shit. Is they asked the one guy to leave because even if he's not instigating this fight, this guy's fucking polluted him. He's sitting there with his tongue hanging out of his mouth like he's a fucking dog. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's about to get tossed. At least we'll get some entertainment there. Then they have some conversation for 10 minutes with security. I'm like, if you're the security, is that a rule in Canada? I thought like if you're on a private establishment, you call buddy over and tell someone to get the fuck out. They kick you out. Instead, they somehow strike a bargain. The guy's like, I'm not leaving. It was fucking Jordan Belfort and goddamn Wolf of Wall Street.
The guy just wanted to talk. Like he was very like, oh, but why are you kicking me out? Why would I go? Like, why would I be going?
Bizarre.
Like, dude, like you're drunk. You're drunk as a skunk and trying to fight 6 dudes. Like, get out.
What are we doing?
But that's where you need a friend. That's where you need a friend like a buddy of mine, Stan Temming. I went to university with him. We had a night out where I think it was like I was maybe in 4th year. Stan had graduated, and one of his buddies was beaking at another guy at the bar. And yeah, producer Alec Reed jumping over the Stan, the best. Stan's the man. You'll hear more about Stan as we go on, but Stan's buddy and this random guy bumped into each other at the bar. They're yipping at each other. It was late. We left. We're walking down the street to go get some like poutine and shit. And these guys are just beaking at each other. And Stan walked over, stood right between the two of them and said, you guys either need to fight right now or walk away from each other. Because this has been going on for 10 minutes and it's you guys are looking like losers at this
ridiculous.
Point. And the guys looked at each other and went, yeah, okay, whatever. And we just all went and got poutine. So someone
shout out Stan.
Jump in there. Shout out Stan. Stan the man. Next time we get in a situation like that, I'm just gonna send you in there and just be like, Luke, just go break it up. Because
honestly,
in there.
Yeah, and I was gonna be like, listen, bro, if you don't like, it got to the point where at first I was like, this drunk guy is out of line. I was on team 6 dudes side. Okay. But then by the end of it, I was like, I hope this drunk guy puts every one of these fucking dudes to sleep.
The 6 dudes were
even the drunk guy, yippee, and the drunk dude like kind of chilled out for a second, was just having another drink, chilling at the bar. And then like the one dude who was wearing his fucking work badge still. I don't know, I couldn't read it, but I'm like, boss, take that thing off. Okay. And this guy wasn't a fucking surgeon either. So I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to do here.
Well,
but just kept going back at him and back at him and back at him. Like, you call me a bitch. I'm like, shit, I'm about to call you a bitch too, big dog. But that was fun. It was fun.
Well, yeah, like I said, no free ads, but shout out Earl's. Very good service, very good food, drinks, all that stuff. We had a ball.
We're gonna have to go back.
I thought security did a good job of, unfortunately, we wanted to see the fight. I think security did a good job of kind of keeping the peace and making sure everyone was doing all that stuff. So you never know what you're going to get. You never know if you're going to eat sushi for the first time in your life, like I did on the Friday night, or watch a guy, get talked down by security for an hour like we did on the Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an experience. I didn't really enjoy that.
So we're there. We order up some sushi. I just figured that my guy, Luke Bellis, didn't have a Jordan Roos palate. Okay.
Shout out Jordan Roos.
And all of a sudden, this guy's like having a fucking aneurysm looking at the sushi. I mean, bro. And then my guy, manager Mark, said, he's like, try some. You didn't say much at first. You're like, I don't know if I like this. But you tried it. I think manager Mark peer pressured you a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
And dude, I don't know if I've ever seen
anything like that in a while.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone hate a bite of food more than you hated that. I mean, the look on your face was like the Dasani water bottle coach yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably the exact same look. It wasn't great. And I'm sure it was awesome sushi. I'm sure it tasted incredible. I'm a big texture guy. If I look at something and it looks like it's going to feel weird in my mouth, I'm instantly like, I'm not doing that. It looks not appetizing, not pleasing.
Okay, what could you do raw fish like sashimi? If it's like a salmon or an albacore tuna,
I think it would just kind of depend on
the look of it.
On the look of it, really, or just even like the flat out texture of it. Because I'm telling you, I took one bite into that, and everything in my mouth just said no. Yeah, and it was like this.
Bro, Yes, I
like
mean, bro, I
instant.
watch. I'm like, he fucking
My
hates this.
my mother has seen that look at dinner tables for like my entire child, everything. But we can get into my like I have a 4-year-old nephew. I will argue at times he has a deeper palate than I do at times. So we can get into that at later episodes. But like I said off the
Bro,
top, we
Super
got a
Bowl, we
hard
might have to
out.
put some content of just fucking Luke Belly at restaurants. We're gonna have you trying everything, man. Your mom's gonna be so proud of you when you come back from Arizona.
Oh man, twist my arm, fly me out to Arizona, and make me try expensive food at the Super Bowl. Fuck, that sounds
That's
awful,
the
Luke.
plan.
That's
That
speaking
is
of
the
the Super
plan.
Bowl. Segue. Speaking of the Super Bowl, let's get let's get your initial thoughts on the weekend. I don't think there's any better place to start than with the first game of the wild card weekend. Your Seattle Seahawks, 10-point dogs, 9.5-point dogs. FanDuel Sportsbook Canada.
All
Something
right,
tells me
I'll
you
give
love
you
the 9.5 with Seattle.
for sure. That's gonna happen for sure. That's 100%er. There is supposed to be a monsoon, which any other year I would have said was great for Seattle, but I don't think that's great this year for them. If you look at this team, um, Geno Smith, not against Seattle, not against San Fran, but San Fran plays zone defense quite a bit, and Geno Smith has tremendous numbers against zone defense, just not in those games. And I might have gotten that from producer Dennis. The notes are in, bro. The notes are in. So the rain might hurt.
Wow.
I think the rain actually really, really helps San Francisco, unless it's so much rain that it becomes just a shit show of fumbles and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But let's assume the weather's good enough where the game's not changed too drastically. Seattle has to play very, very well. The margin for error they have is extremely, extremely slim. First and foremost, offensively, they cannot turn the ball over. Secondly, they're going to give up rush yards, but they can't give up home runs. They need to keep the rush yards to 4s, 5s. They need to bend, not break. And third, they need to turn the ball over, get the Niners to turn the ball over. And I say that, and it sounds like a tall task, but if there's one guy who can pull this out to how to win this style of game, it's Pete Carroll. He's done it numerous, numerous times. Plus, I've said this to you, playing a team 3 times, they know each other. There's no element of surprise. Like another big ordeal. I think Seattle has a slight edge in preparation because they're over 2 in that. The Niners are going to be very tough. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. It's going to be very, very hard for Seattle to win. But I think 9.5 points is way too much. I think it'll be actually a very close game. I think it'll be a very, very hard fought game. I sent you a video, I think, of Fred Warner the other day saying that they fucking hate these guys. It's very true. I mean, I saw that and I was like, fuck, man. I wish I was in shape and still playing just so I could smack the Niners. Fuck the Niners, bro. That being said, Seahawks are going to win by 4. Some crazy shit. Geno Smith is put the ball. And another thing I think the Seahawks got going for them is there's no pressure for them. Niners, let's be honest, they don't win the Super Bowl. I'd say the season is a disappointment. Seattle might have just had one of the greatest seasons in franchise history. I mean, not statistically, but you think about everything. You trade away your franchise quarterback. The team you trade him to absolutely stinks. You got the 5th pick in the draft. You got a bunch of new dudes. You have 2 starting offensive linemen at both tackles that are rookies. I mean, you got a rookie running back. You got 2 rookie DBs. And you go 9-8 and make the playoffs. Only Pete could do this, bro. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, no, I think the thought coming into the year was like Seattle 4-13, 5-12, so, kind of something like that. They had the big emotional win week 1, and then I think everyone even then still kind of wrote them off, just kind of playing it off all the emotions and whatnot. But you're right; they're kind of freewheeling it at this point. You've spent all week trying to bring me over to the Seahawks side. I don't think I'm going to get there.
Correct score. I think we should make a small wager.
Yeah.
You land in Arizona. We're going to go to a coffee shop. All right? We're both going to order a coffee. You're going to order a tea. You don't drink coffee. I forgot. You're going to get a pastry or a fucking tea or whatever the hell you drink. Okay? I'm going to get a coffee of some sort. probably an espresso, something to that effect, or cold brew. Closest on correct score, total points, meaning like even if you pick the wrong winner, closest both ways. Does that make sense?
In terms of total points?
No. As in, like, let's say you say it's 24-10.
Yeah.
And the score ends up being you would pick the Niners. The score ends up being 27-7 Niners. You'd be -6 off. So your score is -6. Is that fair?
Sure. And so what if you took 24-10 Seattle and the score was 27-7 San Fran? How you'd be? Oh, it's however
-17
many
on the
off.
one side.
Okay.
Both sides.
So it's however many off you're off on the Seahawks score and the Niners score. That's like your
plus add that and low score wins. You're a golf guy. Here we go. For a coffee or a croissant or a tea in Arizona. Here we go. And best believe that if you lose this, I'm getting an extra large cold brew, bro. I'm taxing your ass another $2 for sure.
I might take you to a Costco in Arizona to buy me a full thing of croissants. Now that you've said croissants, I don't want one. I'm gonna get croissants for the Airbnb.
Deal. Manager Mark's got a Costco card.
Oh, of course he does. Of course, Manager Mark. He does it all. I'm gonna go 27. I'm gonna go 27-10 San Fran.
That's fucking disgusting. The amount of text messages I've sent you this week, you're gonna go 27-10. Yeah. Luke, I've spammed you. Just so anyone listening knows, I've spammed this guy with maybe 30 to 35 tweets, text messages, screenshots of pro Seattle Seahawks stuff. Yes, it's all over there.
It's all just there.
Picture.
It's been days. Every time I look at my phone, I'm like, oh, she hit me back. No, it's just Luke sending me more Pete Carroll press conference clippings. All right, so we got
24-21 Seattle.
Okay, so you agree. If you agree with me, San Fran's going to score some points and remove the ball. I like that. I think I look forward to being wrong. I would love nothing more to be wrong and to see your Seahawks make a run here, but I think they're a great story. I think Geno's probably going to win comeback player of the year. Pete's going to get some sniffs for coach of the year. No one thought they'd be here. The Niners, however, are I think this is it. I think the clock is about to strike midnight.
Are going home.
All right, so we got just 10, 11 minutes here. We got 5 games. We'll rip through them. Saturday night game's interesting, right? It's the game that we all expected would get the Saturday afternoon slot. It makes sense in the Saturday night one, too. The Chargers at the Jags. Where's your head at with that?
I like the Chargers. I think the Chargers are pretty good when healthy. But that being said, I think that everyone's sleeping on the Jags a little bit.
Yeah.
Last week, they didn't look great against Tennessee. And we all have this idea that Tennessee stinks. And Tennessee does not stink. They know how to play. They know how to keep games close. I mean, Tennessee took Kansas City into overtime. They beat up on the Packers in the middle of the year. Tennessee is a very strange team to play because if you can shut the run game down and get up, they're very, very limited. But I actually thought Tennessee with Josh Dobbs was solid. So again, on my end, I think it'll be actually a fun game to watch. I like the Chargers, though, finding a way. Mike Williams, miraculous catch, Keenan Allen type ordeal.
It's funny because I think Tennessee, and I think you would agree with this, I think Tennessee's a bad roster that has been coached well. And I think the Chargers are a little bit of a great roster that aren't coached the best. So it's interesting. Like, I think the Jags are getting both ends of the spectrum there in terms of how ready and prepped and good to go that like Titans defense mainly was last week. Like the Jags couldn't do anything on the ground. A part of me wonders if they're able to run the ball a little bit better. They'll probably give the Chargers a run for their money. But at the end of the day, they almost just lost to Josh Dobbs, and they were a Josh Dobbs fumble away from not winning that game. So I'm right there with you. I think I like the Chargers this week. I think the Chargers are one of those are the sneaky team that could make some noise over the next couple of weeks. We can get into that later though. Sunday's going to be an interesting one. A couple of divisional games with Giants, Vikings sandwiched in between. The first one, Bills, Dolphins. You kind of like the Dolphins this week, yeah?
No.
In terms of the spread, no?
In terms of the spread, 1,000%.
Yeah,
I think
13
the
and a half.
Bills will find a way to do this, but I think it's going to be very close. I understand Tua's out. I understand Skylar Thompson isn't that guy. But Mike McDaniel has seemingly found a way or a variety of ways to run the ball in this defense. And again, like you got to go into these games where people they want to look at these games like, oh, coaches are just gonna stroll out there. That's not the fucking case. Like, you don't think Mike McDaniel shows up and is like, okay, I am outgunned this game. I don't have my fucking guy in Tua. How can we keep this bad boy close and win? It's like a chess game, you know? And the reality is, yeah, Mostert might have a thumb, but Jeff Wilson Jr. he's a very, very good running back. Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I look at this thing and I'm like, Buffalo has been through a lot, not just with the Damar Hamlin stuff. You're talking about even before that, the snowstorm or the Detroit. I mean, they've had a bit of up and down, a couple bad losses, whatever. They seemingly turn the ball over quite a bit.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, okay, Miami's going to try and come out, run the ball, which they've been able to do. On the back end, you know, is Micah Hyde, I believe, is out for the year. Is that correct? Poyer is now back.
I think Hyde actually was seen at practice recently.
Or do I have that backwards?
Micah Hyde back in the playoffs. His status is up in question.
So it's like I look at this thing and I'm like, okay, they're banged up defensively. That's just a fact. And they don't have your guy, what's it called? They don't have Von Miller. Like, Rousseau is still an absolute or going to be a star. But like now I'm like, dude, if Miami can run the ball, and you can't tell me that Waddle and Hill aren't like big time explosive play guys. So they run the ball, they hit a few explosive plays, they win. That being said, Sean McDermott is a tremendous coach. On the other side, he's probably going to his D line every day saying, boys, we shut the run down, we win by 25.
Yep.
We shut the run down, we win by fucking 25.
Yep.
So I think it'll be closer. I do think the Bills will win. I want to be on record. I'm calling the Bills, but I think it'll be a very, very big time battle. And yeah, that's that.
Nothing.
The only way this bad boy isn't close is if Josh Allen comes out, drives the field for a touchdown, Miami goes 3 and out or something like that. Josh Allen comes down the field, and now all of a sudden it's 14-0 at the end of the first. And now you're like, shit, I don't know if we want to keep running the ball.
Yeah.
Then this one's going to get ugly.
But if the Dolphins come out and have a 13-play, 7-minute, 8-9-minute drive that results in a field goal, it's like, okay, we just took 10 minutes off the clock. We're up 3-0, and all of a sudden the clock starts to run, right? That's
yes.
Right. And that's how you covered the 13.5 if you're Miami. I think the Bills are going to score. I look forward to seeing Skylar Thompson playing in a playoff game, said literally nobody ever other than his mother. Moving on. Giants, Vikings. Where's your head at with the Vikings?
Listen, I'll tell you this right now. I know we got to be quick here. The Vikings, this is the best matchup they can possibly have. I've defended the Vikings all year. They've won 13 games, et cetera, et cetera. The Vikings' weakness is their secondary and their defensive coverage, especially against teams that can throw the ball. The Giants might have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. And that's, again, that's not even a controversial statement. Next thing is, especially in the playoffs, they have the worst wide receiver core. That's just a fact. They don't have a true 1A. I'm not saying the guys are bad, but there's no stars here. You shut down Saquon, you win the game. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to cook. The Giants defense is sneakily pretty decent, but Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, they'll find a way to put 24 plus up. This bad boy, the Vikings are winning.
I agree. No need to spend any more time with it. I think the Vikings win this game. I think the Giants, fun story. Dable, good coach. Barkley, I love him, but I think it ends here. Sunday Night Football, Bengals, Ravens. No Lamar Jackson. Looks like no Tyler Huntley as well. I think the Bengals win this game by 2 touchdowns. Can you convince me otherwise?
Yes. Mark Andrews will be back. J.K. Dobbins will be back. Last week, and this defense right now is kind of Joe Burrow's daddy. Joe Burrow, some of his worst statistical games have been against this defense, my guy.
Harbaugh,
is Huntley back? Is Huntley back?
I don't think Huntley's back. I think it's Anthony
That'll
Brown.
hurt. Not that Huntley is. I'm going to have to consult some notes for you real quick. Let me consult some notes. Ready for this?
Yes. Oh, are these the notes?
These are the notes, bro.
Let's check the notes.
There's a lot of fourth quarter mismatch. Should this wild card matchup come down to the fourth quarter, Joe Burrow could have a significant advantage against the Ravens defense. Oh, wow. They like him in the fourth quarter.
There you go.
I guess he smacks him in the fourth quarter. The notes are saying Bengals. The notes are really heavy Bengals. I don't see any notes to back up my belief.
The Bengals are an interesting team. I'll ask you a question about the Bengals in a minute, but I want to get your thoughts. Cowboys, Bucks to wrap up the week Monday night.
That's a tough one, dude. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go Cowboys, but they need to come out and rush for 125 on the ground. If this one becomes a shootout, bro, where we're pushing the ball down the field, the Bucks win. Because Brady will not throw. He might throw a pick, but he will throw less than Dak. So if this one becomes like we're letting Brady throw it 50 times and Dak throw it 45, the Bucks will win. If this one becomes, hey, we have Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott, and we're going to commit to this run game, then do some play action, then try and find CeeDee Lamb, this one will be a fucking blowout. But I don't know. I mean, dude, last week was an abomination for the Cowboys. It was an abomination. I don't know what the fuck happened. But I think it'll turn them around. It'll wake them up and be like, yo, we need to get the ball in Tony and Zeke's hand and then throw the ball as a secondary idea.
Yeah, the Cowboys look like they kind of just sleptwalked through that game against the Commanders. The 1 seed was still like plausible at the start of Sunday, but it really wasn't going to happen. So I just think they were super, super checked out for that game. The Bucks are bad. The Bucks are bad and have been bad all year. I think Brady could throw for 330 and they could still lose this game because I think they could move the ball a little bit, but I don't think they'll score. I don't think they'll convert. They've had weird issues with getting on the same page with receivers all season. And we've done it. It feels like we've done it all year where it's like the Bucks are bad, the Bucks are bad, the Bucks are bad. And now they're in the playoffs and they got the Cowboys. And it's just like, I'm just going to take Tom Brady. And I'm just not going to do that. The Cowboys should win this game. I think they do win this game. So those are your thoughts on all the games so far. Wildcard weekend. Based on the teams that you got advancing, how do you see the rest of the playoffs playing out? You're going to be in Arizona. We're still figuring out if the full podcast will be in Arizona or not, but who do you anticipate the two teams being there while you're working, covering the game? Not who do you think is going to make it, not who would you bet on, but just, who do you think's there? Chiefs Eagles? The Kelsey Bowl.
Yeah, Chiefs Eagles.
Chiefs Eagles. Producer Alec,
bad news.
Let's get producer Alec here. Let's get a Super Bowl pick from producer Alec before we wrap this up.
Okay.
I went with Eagles over Chargers on mine.
Wow, Eagles over. You know what? I absolutely love.
This guy's got a Guelph Griffin hoodie on, bro. We're not gonna take this serious.
I had to for you. I had to for you. Had to, especially after our interview with Wags. Mine's pretty simple. We got to go the two best teams. It's Bills over Eagles. Bills are going to be riding that Damar Hamlin factor. They're going to be playing great ball. They don't have to go in to Kansas City. They don't have to go into Arrowhead.
What about
playing that?
What about Cincy in round 2?
No, Cincy's not coming into Buffalo and winning that game. No shot. Absolutely not.
They might.
Since he's good, they're not coming into Buffalo and winning that game.
The
Damar Hamlin factor, I think, is an emotional factor that they're going to be riding for a long time. And Buffalo, I think the Eagles are the only team in the NFC that I think I can logistically pick and feel comfortable picking. The rest of them are just kind of and Buffalo, I think they squeak by Cincinnati, and I think that neutral site game in Atlanta is just going to be an absolute shootout. So give me Bills over Eagles. 2 best teams. Give me Bills over Eagles.
I don't mind it. That neutral site game in the championship round, if we get there, people were saying they should play it on the Saturday because it's in Atlanta, and that way the Chick-fil-A can be open for the game. So I think that'd be pretty good.
Yes.
So that's going to do it for us today. This has been a jam-packed 45 minutes. We did a little bit of talk about the weekend. We got some football chats in. That Bills-Bengals game, I hope we get it next week. It feels like it could be game of the year potential. The Monday Nighter a couple weeks ago felt like it had some good steam to it. So fingers crossed that those teams do what they got to do and we get the matchup next week that we all kind of deserve. Luke, as always, thank you for your time. I know we had to move the schedule around a little bit this week. Another shout out to Kara Waglin. I had a blast yesterday with that chat. If you haven't checked it out, the episode's live. Go give it a look. Shout out producer Alec for turning that around as quick as he turned that around and being back with us this morning. It's the playoffs, man. We're here. We're looking to turn out as much stuff as we can. We're looking to talk about everything that we can. We're looking to just kind of have some fun, rip it up. And like I said, we appreciate your time. We appreciate everyone joining us and listening. Good luck with all your bets this weekend. May all your picks be winners. Go Seahawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. See you, folks.